Hey guys, so I have a bit of a book haul to share with you. These are all the books I purchased in May, and they are the last books I'm going to be buying for quite a while. If you have seen my TBR pile or my unread books video, I will link it in the box if you haven't. I have a substantial amount of books to get through. Substantial amount of books I have not read. So these are going to be the last books I purchased for a while. I'm putting myself on a book buying ban. I will do a video about that a little bit later and go over like my terms and conditions because yeah, I need a few little loopholes. I can't just go on a flat out no buy. I might go a little bit nuts. So I'm just going to jump right in and share with you the books that I've purchased. First of all, I have the Penguin book of classical myths, and I purchased this for the simple fact that there's lots of releases, at least over the last 3 years and in future, that have been based on myths and Greek mythology or Roman mythology or Celtic mythology, Norse mythology, and I kind of want to read the primary text, and this is a collection of the Greek and Roman mythology. I think I have a book of Norse mythology on my Kindle. I think I got it free. I know I have like Beowulf anyway. I still need to read that. But after I read this, I would like to study a little bit more into Celtic mythology and Norse mythology and just kind of get a nice broad background knowledge on mythology from different regions. I just kind of find these kind of things really interesting. So yeah, I probably won't just sit and flat out read this. It'll be over a long period of time, like read a chapter a week or something like that and just immerse myself in it and take it all in. I don't want to rush through it and just have it be a glance read. I want to really soak it in. I want to soak it in. Next I picked up Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I've been waiting for this to come out on paperback since the book was published. I have the other two. I have Daughters of Broken Bone and was it Blood and Starlight? I will find it. Where is it? Days of Blood and Starlight. I have Thorns, Broken Bone and Days of Blood of Starlight in paperback, and that's about as far as I go with the whole matchy match thing. I like them to be in the same format. I like them to either be all in hardback or all in paperback. I don't like to mix and match. So I read Daughters of Broken Bone and I really enjoyed it. I bought Days of Blood and Starlight and I didn't really get around to reading it. But now I have Dreams of Gods and Monsters. I'm thinking I might marathon the series in July. Maybe possibly. So, I'm glad to finally have this. And it is big. I mean, how many pages is this? This is over 600 pages. That's cray. But there you go. Next I have a book that I'm sure you're all sick of seeing, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This is a book about fairies and I read it already. I read it in one sitting and I freaking loved it, and I can't wait for the next book in the series. It's already declared in the back pages that it's coming out May next year, so once it's available for pre-order I will damn well be pre-ordering this book. Well, you know, the next book. But I'm a big fan of Sarah J Maas. I'm in the middle of reading the Throne of Glass series and I can't wait for Queen of Shadows to come out in September. I'm hoping to be up to date with the Throne of Glass series by then, so then I'll just have to wait until May for the next book of this one to come out. Next I have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, another book that I'm sure you're sick of seeing. I've been hearing about this book since April, I think, and I got a little sampler from Amazon, read a little bit of it and really enjoyed it, so I pre-ordered it. A lot of books lately are coming out in hardback. I don't know why, but I used to wait until the paperback came out and I'm just at the point now where I just don't want to wait. it costs more, but I want to know what's inside here, so I just bit the bullet and pre-ordered the hardback, and it's gold. It's freaking gold! I've never had a gold book before. That's super pretty. Gaudy, but super pretty. But yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get to read this month. Hopefully. But yeah, I will let you guys know what I think of it once I've read it. This is Illusionarium by Heather Dixon. I read Entwined by Heather Dixon about 2 or 3 years ago maybe. I really loved it. It was a fairy tale retelling. I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be a fairy tale retelling as well. I'll just have a quick nosy to refresh myself. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I just saw the phrase parallel worlds in the synopsis. So, yeah, I'm gonna bump this up my TBR and read it as soon as possible. I'm gonna do a video on my buzzwords, but parallel worlds, I jump on that. So that's Illusionarium by Heather Dixon. Next I have Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge, and I've got Cruel Beauty by her. She released it around this time last year, and that was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I really liked how much the writing style and what I've read of it so far. I believe it's part of a series. I've only read about a quarter of the book, but I heard this was a Red Riding Hood retelling, and I just pre-ordered it. I like her writing style. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy both books, so I don't mind having pre-ordered it without having completed one of her books before. So that is Crimson Bound. This next set is a trilogy. It was impulsive. It was probably really silly of me, but I'm pretty damn sure I'm gonna enjoy it. And that is the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer. And I'd been eyeing these up for a while, and I had seen them in the library, and I read a few pages, and I liked the writing style. And it was when I saw a girl who'd come to the cafe, and she looked really cool, and I really liked her style, and I do this a lot. If I see someone who I like the style of and they're reading a book, I kind of figure if we shared a similar taste in fashion, maybe we might still share a similar taste in literature. And she was reading City of Saints and Madmen, and I went and looked it up on Goodreads and realised it was by the same author, Jeff Vandermeer, and he wrote these guys, and these have been screaming at me to read them, so I picked up both. I know that this is about an expedition to Area X. It follows at least the first book anyway. I know the first book is about an expedition into Area X, and it follows the team that go there and what happens to them, and these are all set in the same world. This, however, I'm a little bit puzzled by. I will read the back of it for you. In the city of Ambergris, a would-be suitor discovers that a sunlit street can become a killing ground in the blink of an eye. An artist receives an invitation to a beheading and finds himself enchanted. A patient in a mental institution is convinced he's made up a city called Ambergris, imagined its every last detail, and that he's really from a place called Chicago. Ambergris is a cruelly beautiful metropolis, a haven for artists and thieves, for composers and murderers, and once there, anything can happen. And this seems to be a compilation of various stories. Like, it was when I was flicking through it and I noticed the page numbers change. You'll get to a certain point and then they start again. And I looked at the table of contents, and it's the Book of Ambergris. You have The Real Vandermeer, Dragon in Love, and that, I'll hold it up. So you have, ooh, dropping things. So you have the Book of Ambergris, and these are all the bits in the Book of Ambergris. And then you have the appendix, and each of these are kind of like little stories within themselves, and some of them are set out like articles. There's illustrations. Some of them have different like typeface and like this. See, there's like little illustrations and things, and this just seems really intriguing and a little creepy sometimes. There's a creepy illustration of a squid. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this one, but I will probably get to these guys relatively soon. This might need a little bit more dedication. Next I have Umbria in Shadow by Patricia A. McKillop, and I discovered this author through Sarah J. Maas's Goodread page. She was currently reading a couple of other works by the same author, and I went and checked out Patricia McKillop's Goodreads page itself and started scrolling through her list of works, and this jumped out at me, and again I will just read you the back. The Prince of Umbria is dying, and already his sinister great aunt is plotting to seize power. The Black Pearl is feared throughout the land, and the city folk know her reign will be a terrible one. Only the prince's son can stop her from seizing the throne, but he's just a boy, barely worth the trouble of doing away with. Umbria, it seems, is doomed, and yet beneath the streets, in a buried world of shadow and ghosts, a mysterious sorceress is weaving new spells, watched over by a girl sculpted entirely from wax. And this lady, she can weave a tight story. She can say a lot in a short space of time, and like a page that she writes, a lesser author would take 10 pages to describe the same scene. And I really appreciate that quality of writing, and it kind of makes me interested in her other works. So once I finish this, and if I really enjoy it as much as I'm expecting to, I might delve into some of her other things, because she has a huge catalogue of work and it all sounds incredibly amazing, and I can kind of see how it influences Sarah J. Maas's writing. So if you like Sarah J. Maas, I would recommend some Patricia McKillop, especially if you like that sort of fantastical, very strong world building aspect. Worth a look in. This one, I will say, I do not know a whole lot about. I just know that many people have told me it's a fantastic series, and based on what I have read, I'm most likely gonna love it. And this is The Innocent Mage by Karen Miller, and this is the first book in the Kingmaker Kingbreaker series. And as far as fantasy series go, these are quite short books, which I appreciate. I don't think I could handle starting another like Game of Thrones thickness of a series, but these are pretty okay sized, and I've read the first couple of pages, and I've grasped it's about a boy who wants to go to the city to make a fortune, to make a better life for him and his father, and the only way he can do that is by going to the city, because where he is he can't make enough money. And I'm guessing that this kid is gonna be someone really important or do something to draw a lot of attention to himself. I'm not entirely sure, but I will probably get onto this some point in the coming few months, and I'll let you know what I think of it when I get to it. If you've read it, let me know a little bit more about it. No spoilers, obviously, but if you've read it, let me know a little bit about it. And the last two books are an endeavour into science fiction. I like futuristic books, like worlds in the future, like post-apocalyptic, and I kind of want to go into a bit more space books, like proper out there on a spacecraft sci-fi. And this was kind of spurred on by watching Jupiter Ascending. Not the best film, I will say. They could have done so much more with that film. If they hadn't have focused on the love story, they could have done way more with that film. and because of that it probably won't get a sequel. But hey ho. So I picked up The Dreaming Void by Peter F. Hamilton. This book I've been eyeing up for quite a while. It's part of the Void trilogy, I believe it is. Yep, the Void trilogy. There's Dreaming Void, Temporal Void, and Evolutionary Void. And from what I can grasp, it's about a universe that's expanding into ours, and they want to make contact. Yeah. It sounds super exciting, so I don't know what to expect. It's fantasy. It's not it's not fantasy, it's sci-fi. But it's been kind of calling my name for a very long time. Every time I go looking for fantasy books, because they just sort of ram them both together, sci-fi and fantasy. You know, they're placed about place, and yeah. I've been looking at it for about 2 years now, and I just kind of picked it up. And I thought, why not? I'll just give it a go. Same with this one. This is Leviathan Awakes by James S.A. Corey. And it was actually the second book that I kept looking at, Caliban's War, and I kept reading the back of it and thinking, oh my god, this sounds amazing. And they never had the first one, so when I found the first one, I picked it up. And I am so looking forward to reading this that I might just drop everything and read it. Again, I don't know too much about it, and the synopsis is really quite wordy, but George R.R. Martin called it a kick-ass space opera. There you go, there's a recommendation. But yeah, it's the first book in a series, and I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I'm slouching. I'm like way down here. Oh, I should sit with my back straight. So that's everything that I purchased in May. I know it seems like a lot, but May was my birthday month, and I do tend to be a little bit generous with myself around my birthday. But I'm super, super excited with everything, and I can't wait to read it all. I'm in one of those situations where I'm like, I want to read it all at once, and I know it's physically impossible. So I'm gonna sort of pace myself through, just jot these books throughout the next few months. I kind of have my next 6 months worth of reading sort of planned in my head. I know what I would like to read. There's a lot of stuff that I want to read, and when I was doing my unread books video, it was kind of like shopping my own library. I'm like, hey, I haven't seen that in a while. I've been looking for that book. I can't wait to read that book. Oh my god, I forgot I had this one. And yeah, I'm super excited about everything that I own right now, and I just want to read it all, and I know I can't.